World War I, also called the Great War, began in 1914 and ended in 1918, becoming one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. It started after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary by a Serbian nationalist, Gavrilo Princip, on June 28, 1914. This single event triggered a chain reaction among the powerful nations of Europe. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia came to Serbia's defense. Germany supported Austria-Hungary, and soon France and Britain joined against Germany after it invaded Belgium. The world quickly split into two sides. The Central Powers Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria, and the Allied Powers Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Japan, and later the United States. Several deep-rooted causes had already made war likely: militarism, or the belief in strong armies; alliances, which bound countries to defend each other; imperialism, the struggle for colonies and power; and nationalism, strong pride in one's nation. When war began, many believed it would be short, but it turned into 4 years of horror. The fighting on the Western Front in France and Belgium became a brutal stalemate of trench warfare, where soldiers lived in muddy trenches under constant danger from shells, disease, and machine gun fire. New weapons like tanks, poison gas, and airplanes made the war even deadlier. Battles such as Verdun and the Somme in 1916 caused millions of deaths but little gain. On the Eastern Front, Germany and Austria-Hungary defeated Russia, which later left the war after the 1917 Russian Revolution. Meanwhile, German submarines attacked ships carrying supplies to Britain, and one such attack, the sinking of the Lusitania along with the secret Zimmermann telegram, pushed the United States to join the Allies in 1917. The arrival of fresh American troops gave new hope to the exhausted Allied armies. By mid-1918, the Central Powers were collapsing, their people starving, and their soldiers refusing to fight. Germany's last major offensive failed, and Allied forces launched the 100 Days Offensive, pushing the Germans back. Facing defeat and revolution at home, Kaiser Wilhelm II abdicated, and Germany signed an armistice on November 11, 1918, ending the fighting. The following year, the Treaty of Versailles officially ended the war but placed full blame on Germany, forcing it to pay reparations, give up territory, and reduce its army. The war's cost was enormous: over 17 million people died and 20 million were wounded. For great empires, the German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian collapsed, and new nations like Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia were born. Women gained new roles by working in factories, leading to greater rights such as voting. Economically, Europe was left in ruins while the United States rose as a world power. The harsh peace terms and the suffering they caused in Germany later helped Adolf Hitler rise to power, leading to World War II. World War II was the largest and deadliest conflict in human history, lasting from 1939 to 1945 and involving countries from all over the world. The war began when Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland on September 1, 1939. In response, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The roots of World War II lay in the harsh Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I, which had left Germany humiliated and economically broken. Hitler used this resentment to gain power, promising to restore German pride and rebuild the military. Along with his allies Italy, ruled by Benito Mussolini, and Japan, led by Emperor Hirohito, he aimed to expand their territories and create powerful empires. These nations were called the Axis powers, while the opposing countries Britain, France, the Soviet Union, China, and later the United States were known as the Allied powers. During the first years, Germany conquered much of Europe using a fast, powerful military strategy called Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. By 1940, France had fallen, and Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany. In 1941, Hitler broke his pact with the Soviet Union and invaded it, while Japan attacked the United States at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, drawing America fully into the war. The conflict then spread across Europe, Africa, and Asia. The war saw terrible atrocities, including the Holocaust, in which about 6 million Jews were murdered in Nazi concentration camps. Battles like Stalingrad, Midway, and El Alamein turned the tide in favor of the Allies. By 1944, Allied forces invaded France on D-Day and began pushing German forces back toward Berlin. In May 1945, Hitler committed suicide, and Germany surrendered, ending the war in Europe. In the Pacific, the war continued until August 1945, when the United States dropped two atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, forcing Japan to surrender. World War II caused the deaths of more than 70 million people, destroyed entire cities, and changed the global balance of power. After the war, the United Nations (UN) was created to prevent future conflicts, and the United States, the Soviet Union emerged as the two superpowers. Starting the Cold War, the war ended the rule of dictators in Germany, Italy, and Japan, but it left deep scars and lessons about the dangers of hatred, greed, and unchecked ambition.
World War III is a term people use to describe a possible future global conflict that could involve the world's most powerful nations and potentially destroy life on Earth due to modern nuclear weapons. Unlike the first two world wars, which already happened in the 20th century, World War III has not yet occurred, but many historians, scientists, and world leaders often warn about the dangers that could lead to such a war. After World War II ended in 1945, the world entered a period known as the Cold War, mainly between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both nations built massive stockpiles of nuclear weapons, and many people feared that another world war could break out if tensions ever exploded into direct fighting. Fortunately, that never happened, as both sides understood that a nuclear war would destroy both the attacker and the defender, a concept called mutually assured destruction. Since then, the world has faced several serious crises that almost triggered large-scale wars, such as the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, but diplomacy and peace efforts prevented disaster. In modern times, people worrying that conflicts between major powers, like the United States, Russia, and China, could lead to World War III. Especially with new technologies like cyber warfare, artificial intelligence weapons, and space-based systems. Regional wars, such as those in the Middle East, Ukraine, or the South China Sea, have also raised global concerns because they involve nuclear-armed countries or powerful military alliances like NATO. Another major fear is terrorism or rogue nations using nuclear or biological weapons, which could cause worldwide chaos. However, the international community has created organizations like the United Nations, UN, NATO, and global peace treaties to prevent such a catastrophe. Nations also hold peace summits, arms control agreements, and diplomatic dialogues to reduce tensions and promote cooperation. If World War III were ever to happen, it would likely be far more devastating than any previous war. Modern weapons, including nuclear bombs, drones, and cyber attacks, could destroy cities, economies, and communication systems within minutes. It could even threaten the survival of humanity itself. Because of this, world leaders and peace activists constantly stress the importance of communication, negotiation, and understanding among nations. While the risk of a global war still exists, humanity's greatest hope lies in learning from past mistakes and working together for peace. As long as nations remember the destruction caused by the first two world wars, there is still a chance to ensure that World War III never becomes a reality.